Greetings, everyone. This is Cheri Arellano. I'm your host of today's show, The Divine Lunch Hour, also the host of the Ascension Sessions. Thank you so much for being here and spending your lunch with us, hopefully. I know you guys have a lot of busy things to do, and we really appreciate you spending this lunch hour with us. So grab your favorite drink, grab your favorite meal, and sit back and enjoy this show. Today's guest, you guys, I'm really excited about today's guest. She's a dear friend of mine, and she's also been on the show before. So this is her second time back on the show. Well, she was on the Ascension Sessions, actually. And she's joining us all the way from New Zealand, it's quite early there. Her name is Tracey Clark, and Tracey Clark is a Sirian Starseed. She's a channeler, she's a healer, and she's definitely here to help Starseeds lift and to help humanity come online with their ascension process. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on the show. And we would like to invite you guys to put any questions you have in the chat room and say hello and let us know where you're watching from. So I'm going to bring you in, Tracey. Hi, Tracey. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
Really good. Really good. It's super early here in New Zealand. So, yeah, I'm up with the birds.
Yes. Thank you for getting up so early.
No worries.
Yeah. Wonderful. How did you rest last night? Did you have an active night in the astral, or was it pretty restful?
I had a really restful night, actually. I managed to go to sleep and wake up this morning and not remember too much of anything that happened, which is always good because
Right.
I have a really active night on the astral, and you wake up in the morning, it's like, holy moly, it's like 24 hours nonstop. So it's nice to have a good sleep. And I asked my guys to shut me down anyway. So that's sort of helped.
Last night was definitely not restful for me. I did go to sleep. I was very tired, but I woke up feeling like I went to battle. I woke up like all out of sorts and, just like I didn't sleep at all. So it was definitely an active night for me. But I'm okay now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The solar flares too, they're interfering because we're so high frequenced being starseeds. There's just that extra radiation, that extra energy coming from the sun. We can feel it, and it does disrupt our sleep.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been feeling all the solar flares lately, and there were many happening late last night because I get notifications on my watch and it's like ding, solar flare, ding, M-class solar flare, and it was just like nonstop. So I was definitely feeling it the later part of yesterday and late last night. So hello to Anna in the chat room. Thank you so much for saying hello. It's a blessing to see you here. I'm so glad you're here. She's a dear friend of mine and client, and it's great to have you. And hello to everyone on Facebook and on Rumble. Please say hello on those chat rooms so I can see where you are. And please let us know where you're watching from. We would love to know which country you're watching from. That would be fun for us. So definitely say hello. We're going to get into a lot of topics today on starseeds, light workers, these ascension times that we're in right now. And also, if you guys are interested, Tracey has graciously agreed to do a live reading for one or two of you towards the end of the show. So definitely stay around till the end. This is only 1 hour, so hopefully you can stick with us the entire time. And we have Anna is watching from New Jersey. So that's awesome. Hi. Hello again. And I know sometimes she's also down in the Caribbean. So it's nice that you're a little bit closer today. And so yeah, Tracey, let's just start with if you want to share a little bit about your background and how you got into this and how you found out you were a starseed and, kind of like what was little Tracey like, and when did those gifts start pouring in for you as a child?
Well, it sort of started quite early on. Like, I remember waking up at 6 years old and seeing what looked like a massive cockroach or something at the end of my bed, like an insectoid, and screaming out for my mother, and looking back and it's still there. You know, that's not a good thing. It should go away.
Right.
Still there. And, you know, by the time mum opens the door, okay, it disappears. And I'm like, you know, that sort of took me back a bit, being super young. I noticed I started to get some electricity through my eyelids when I was about 12 or 13. But I think, you know, the whole going to school and then leaving school and then getting married and having babies, I didn't really tune in because I was caught up in the rat race and the system of things, you know. So it wasn't really until I was about 26 that when I got my first major visitation, when I realized this is not normal. So I had to sort of wake up quite quickly at 26 that something was going on. Bearing in mind, though, I'd had some early Hindu I had some time with Krishna, Paramahansa Yogananda, and at the time that I got the visitation, I was actually studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses, so I was very high on Christ consciousness, which is quite a strong vibration in itself. It's very centered and very direct, and it's very heart expanding. So I was quite pumped up on Jesus when I got my first, you know, real visitation from the Pleiadians. So that would have been about 1997, and then I sort of let it go, got caught up in the rat race again, you know, real estate, did some high-powered jobs, and then I got another visitation, and then after that I felt the calling. And I think it's the calling, it's the pull of being pulled out of everything that you're engrossed in, the rat race, and a pull to connect to my guides. And then it just sort of developed after that. I just got more visitations, not so much from the Pleiadians, but it's almost like as I lifted and accepted who I was and what I was, the more freely they'd come to me and talk to me. Like, I had a mantis visit. I've only really caught up with reptilians on the astral in battle. I haven't really chatted to one. It's always been full on in the astral if I'm confronted with a reptilian. But yeah, the mantis visitation was quite incredible. That was a changing point because it holographed into my lounge. So that's something else. They really wanted me to know that this was real. You know, it got to the stage where I couldn't deny it anymore. You know, the holograms were coming. Metatron's cube was getting beamed into my house. And then I was starting to realize what was from earth energy and what was from celestial divine energy from universe. You know, the colors, like neon is universal, and when you get into the greys and the mists, they're all earthbound creatures and entities and ghosts. So it was a bit of a learning process. But yeah, it's just not, there are other people out there that are having experiences that don't quite know what's going on. Like, they might be receiving codes before they go to sleep at night, sacred geometry passing past their eyes. So, you know, they start to think, whoa, something's going on, and it'll be starseeds awakening, because that can be some of the first experiences they have, is just getting some vision behind the eyelids, you know, whether it be sacred geometry or perhaps a visit, a Pleiadian swooping up to their face and, you know, being really inquisitive and looking, you know. That's what the Pleiadians are very good. They'll send your main Pleiadian communicator to check you out and look you over and check your fear level. You know, because this is what a part of the block can be, is that fear when we start to see things. So she sort of comes sweeping up and gives you a really inquisitive look, and she's soft and she's angelic and she's really beautiful, and you sort of know. It's almost like a grandmother coming to visit you, you know. It's that warmth, that love. Yeah. So she comes and visits starseeds, and they often see her but think that perhaps it's like a fairy godmother or perhaps one of a past ancestor, but it's generally be their Pleiadian communicator that will just see if they're ready, just check the fear level. Yeah, they're good at, they have to check your fear level to see how much you can like receive, because they don't want to frighten you. If they frighten you, then you shut down, and then your frequency drops, and then they can't communicate anymore. So it's a lot on how much fear you have.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of starseeds coming online right now. I know a lot of people are waking up. Their intuition, their telepathy, their clairvoyance is coming online, or clairaudience. Kind of out of the blue. I'm not out of the blue, but out of nowhere. They may not even be consciously trying to increase their telepathy. It's just happening. And I feel like, these are whatever the next wave of crystal children are called, who were planted here or seeded here, and they're just receiving the divine light codes right now to come online so that they can wake up or awaken and help humanity lift. And so what kinds of messages would you like to share with those people? I mean, they're kind of like Gen Z, Gen A, a lot of them are like in their late teens, early 20s. And they're just, it's like our generation, the Gen Xers, like most of us woke up much later on in life. And this generation, they're all coming online in their teens, which is incredible. So what messages would you like to share with them today?
Mainly just to flow with what they see, because they're going to see a lot, whether it be holograms outside of their vision, like instead of an internal thought vision, more of if it happens in the room, just to breathe through it, like watch their breathing. It's really important. And just have no fear. But I think, you've got to go back. They sort of have to know who they are first, because it's really hard if you don't know what you are when you're receiving all this information, because it can be a bit scary, because you're wondering where it's coming from. So it's quite important for them, if they start to feel like this galactic calling, to actually do some breathing down, like slowly in the nose, slowly out the mouth, and just start calling in their Pleiadian guides, because all starseeds have 6 Palladian guides at least. So if they feel like they're feeling more cosmic than, say, Earth-based, they could do their breathing down and call in their Pleiadian communicator. Please, I'd like to speak to my Pleiadian communicator, and just feel for an energy. Just don't expect them to go, oh, hello, blah, blah, blah. Just feel the energy of them coming over you, and just feel them sweep over you. Get really familiar with that energy, so that you're always aware, oh, there's my Pleiadian guide, I can feel her. Because every entity, and like even ghosts, they've all got different feelings, and they'll come in at different angles, or like the archangels, when they come in, they can blow in, like they'll disturb things on the table, and you'll feel a rush of air, and you'll know, oh, that's an archangel. You just know straight.
Big energy.
Pleiadians, we've got 3 female Pleiadians, 2 are healers, one's a communicator. A lot of times one of the healers will have their hand just above our head, supporting our energy while we're connecting, and you'll feel a bit of a vibration of warmth between your head and where they're holding their hands. So you'll feel that there's something there. It's like your hair's sort of electrical. And that's another thing too. Your Pleiadians will have more of an electrical feel, so you can really tell the difference between a galactic being and a ghost, because a ghost will just chill you down. They'll chill a room down, whereas when you've got your Pleiadians and you warm up, your whole house becomes quite velvety and serene, and it's not chilly. None of the rooms are chilly. Like, it's just, you can feel that warmth that surrounds you when you communicate with them all through your house. And they basically push ghosts out because the frequencies, they're so expanded that they just, there's no room for anything negative. So it's quite beautiful to actually invite them into your life. But if you think you have to ask. if you think you're a starseed or you're feeling you're getting galactic codes and you're feeling you're seeing holograms, do your breathing down, which is like a light meditative breath. Take it till your body feels limp, and then call in just say, I'd like to speak to my Pleiadian communicator, and she'll step forward and just talk to her. That's what I say to these young ones, is just talk to her, build the bond, because you'll find, even though your telepathy skills may not be up to scratch, which is just intuition, you can work on that and get that sharper. It's the energy, and they may choose to communicate with you with a couple of flashes of warm energy for yes and one flash for no. Like, that's building the bond and starting making that communication with them, because not everybody goes straight into telepathy, and not a lot of people want it either. I was even a bit dubious about it, somebody yakking away in my head. That's why I treat them more like an app. I'm like Engage, or what I like to have my own mental space. But building the bond is the most important thing, I think, for these young starseeds. And then as they head towards, their middle age, the telepathy will start to come through. They'll get clearer messages, which is really good.
Yeah, I like, when you go into a meditation or a healing session, and I always ask them to come in close to me. I'll ask my guides to come in closer, and I always work with like Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael. And as soon as I ask them to come in closer, I can feel them. I get the tingles on my crown and sometimes down my back, and then sometimes it goes all the way through, which, like, if I'm reading someone or healing someone and I get a thought like, oh, this could be happening, they'll confirm it with like the tingles. So for all of you beautiful starseeds who are coming online, if you don't have your clairaudience yet, they might communicate with you with these tingles like Tracey's talking about. So definitely pay attention to those, because that's really important in the early stages.
Yeah. See, when they first started communicating with me, it was I was really certain, like, this is what I wanted. I knew they were there, and I wanted to talk to them. They're just like, why are you sending me all this stuff, and what have I got to do with the whole scheme of things? Why me? It's like, I wanted to know. So I went out on my way to try and lift and trust my intuition, and even then I was that me talking to me, or was that I was like mucking around with it? And I said out loud, if you guys want to talk to me, you're going to have to zap me with electricity. And next minute, I got zapped. I was certain, I was sincere, and I received a zap of electricity right through my body, and I thought, whoa. And I remember feeling quite shell-shocked. I was standing there and I was like, oh, yeah, this is serious again. This is serious. So it was, after that, because I wouldn't do any live readings after that, because every time I asked my guide something, I'd just about shoot off the chair when we started to connect. But now I've got it down to, after 5 years or so, I've got it down to little pulses through my eyelids. So when they talk to me, I get that pulse go through my eyelids, and now I know it's not me. And they often use you. Like, that's another way you'll know. If you get a message in your head and you go, you need to, well, if that was you, you'd be saying, I need to. So be very aware of what you're hearing as well in the internal dialogue, because if you get you need to, or you need that's your guides. And that you're so distracted and not thinking about it, it comes through nice and clearly. Because sometimes if you overthink it, you can't overthink anything. You just got to flow, and no expectations. That's the hardest thing, because we all have expectations. As soon as we put expectations, that's got a level of fear. So that lowers our frequency.
Do you think that when we ask them, like you said, if you want to talk to me, you got to send me electricity. Like, you were really specific, and that's what you got, and that's what you still get. Do you think that, like, they give you exactly what you asked for, or do you think it's more like they give you what you can handle, as a light worker?
They'd given me, I'd seen a few things they gave me what I could handle. They gave me what I asked for at the end of the day. And and that was pretty much because I've been through all the visionary things. But before you go to sleep at night and you get things come into your vision before you shut down, I'd seen some pretty horrific things, not like brutal between humanity type rat race stuff, more like, for an example, I had a face it zoomed up to me and I was looking at it and I was thinking, I was trying not to overthink because then it disappears. So I'm sort of looking at it and I'm sort of, my mind's going at 100 miles an hour, like, who are you? But I'm not interested. Or who are you? But I'm not interested. So I don't overthink it too much. And next minute, the skin started to drip off it, like it was melting off the face, off the skull, and I was just like, oh no, and I pulled out, I just go, no, I can't deal with that. It actually they kept coming back and showing me that vision. It didn't go away. So I just kept breathing. I just kept breathing down and I let the skin melt off and I saw the skull, and next minute, bright light came out from behind the eyes. So I was actually being revealed a soul, which was the most amazing thing. And I'd held myself up, for weeks, not getting past the skin melting off. And I realized that was a big test and fear. So, because I kept shutting down. I was like, oh, I can't deal with this. This can't be right. This can't be angelic. What's this? But it was really, really a test. And they do test you. They'll test you with little things because they need to know that you're not going to, they need us really mentally stable, because if we're not mentally stable, it could, experiencing things like this could start something if there's something not quite right in our own circuitry. So they need us completely stable and fearless to receive. And of course, because after that, I was going into astral battle and I was battling reptilians and it was full on. And if I hadn't had those experiences, I think I might have found it quite gruesome and frightening. But yeah, it's all on and it's all expansion in the astral. It's game on, and we all expand to the same size. It's quite yeah.
And I think being a starseed is not super easy because we get challenged, we get maybe ridiculed, people don't believe in starseeds or whatever, and we get tested more than anyone, I feel like. And Jesus and Mary Magdalene were starseeds, and I mean that's the biggest testimony of suffering and testing that we have in our history. Can you speak a little bit about how most starseed souls sign up for this? Like we fully sign up for this before we're incarnated on Earth, and we're here to do our work. Yeah. So for the starseeds who are like, I want to go home, I don't like being here, can we talk about that a little bit? Because I feel like that's a common sentiment that hopefully those people can shift, and accept kind of like their own inner soul contract that they made with themselves.
That's right. Because we did sign up for everything that we're experiencing on Earth, and there's a reason for that, because that's sort of, we come down here, we enter this body, and we're here to lift the frequency of humanity. We're here to help and guide, but we don't actually have any skills. Some of our Sirians hold past life skills that will come forward. So some of us are already here with a lot of integrity, that righteousness, a lot of a pull to moral values. We sort of like not people to be treated. We like them treated well. We don't like it when somebody's getting bullied, like there's that deep sense inside us. There has to be fairness. It's got to be a win-win situation.
Justice. Yeah, we're all about justice.
Yeah. So that's quite strong in starseeds when they first start out. What was your original question though?
If you can talk about, the fact that we've signed up for this, we're here on Earth at this time in this Ascension Timeline to help humanity lift. And so we have to think about the greater collective, not just ourselves, and how difficult and how we feel about it. It's almost like a sacrifice in a way. I hate to use that word, but yeah.
It's like it's all about empowering starseeds to get as much power as possible, like to become beacons. That's what I like to. That's what I'm here to do, is to make everybody out there that's actually doing what I'm doing and building up other starseeds, making them strong and making them believe in themselves as well, like to know how many guides they've got, how many lives they've had on Earth, where they come from galactically, whether it's Sirian or Palladian. The more knowledge a starseed has, the more comfortable they are in their journey. But we do, when we're up on craft, we do choose the experiences we want. And it's a hard pill to swallow, because a lot of starseeds have been through a lot of trauma, and we can stand back and go, why would I ever sign up for that? Well, when we're up there, we don't really get the gravity of what the human self goes through. Like we get a fair idea, but we don't actually quite understand compassion, humility. So when we come down and we jump in this body and we have these experiences, that's what we're learning. We're learning compassion, humility, gratitude, all those frequency lifters. And we do choose to have a lot of trauma, and I don't know why. I think it's to pull us. What trauma does, it makes us quite humble, and it can lift our frequency. And I know it's a terrible way to become high frequenced really quickly, but yeah, when we're under a lot of humility through the trauma we've been through, it can lift us super high, and we can be beacons.
I like to say, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I mean I like to say that we go through that trauma because it's like a catalyst, it's like a rocket. It like a catapult, it launches us onto our path, because we get to a point where like we just can't be in that trauma anymore. We don't want to associate with it. We want to leave. We want to start over. And then we end up wanting to help people who may have suffered similar traumas. And usually we go on like this self-help journey or self-healing journey to kind of soothe our hearts from all the trauma. And then we want to help others. So I see it as a big catalyst, because like, I know people who had pretty cushy, comfy childhoods without any trauma, and they don't have that same like sense of urgency to lift humanity and to help. And I'm not saying this is true for everybody. I'm just saying as a general, blanket statement. So, if you did have trauma as a child, you almost can see it as a blessing in a way, because it's going to help you get on your path, and it's going to help you really know the dark side and the light side, because as starseeds, like we're not always all love and light all the time. Like we're in the depths and the lower dimension. Like we're battling darkness a lot. So we have to get really familiar with darkness and light, so we can also have a lot of discernment. Like discernment is a key thing when you're starting your awakening journey, because you might be seeking a spiritual mentor, or you might be seeking a life partner or your soulmate, and you want to use really good discernment with finding someone who's in alignment with your mission, and who's of the light. There's a lot of tricksters out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I find as well. And when I'm out there and I'm looking around, I find the more grandiose it is, the less it is, accurate. Like the more simple it is, the more accurate it is. But it seems like everything's so over sensationalized now, that something so easy has been made so overcomplicated just to sell it, because you can't sell something simple unless you over sensationalize it into something, it's like I see a lot of over sensationalizing going on out there, which is hard. It's hard to watch as a starseed, because the only way we can really lift as a starseed is to do the internal work. And we have to really test ourselves and that it's sort of like, some call it the dark night of the soul. And then that's when we're sort of getting rid of all the stuff that no longer serves us anymore, and we're starting to fill ourselves up with things that are better and higher vibrational, that can actually start that law of attraction happening, where we're bringing in better quality life. But yeah, it's quite and the frequency of your food and the frequency of what you're watching on TV, it all makes a difference as well, as to how quickly you're going to lift and maintain that lift. Because a lot of us get pulled back into the rat race really easily, you know, just through being betrayed or death or grief, that can pull us back down quite densely into the third dimension. But you just have to keep, you know, blessing your food, blessing your sexual partner, blessing your water, bless anything that goes internal. Just bless it. Like you just look at it and bless it in your mind. You don't have to go, dear God, can you please bless this water? It's unnecessary, because they know you, your guides know you, they help enforce it. Yeah, so it's good to keep everything around you quite highly vibrating as well, so that you're not getting pulled down all the time. Good music, like high vibrational music in the car. Yeah, just to maintain, quite like that Key Ava Maria, I think it is. VD Maria. It's really good. It's got frequencies in it, Kitty's version, that just, you can feel it, like it just, woo, that vibration from the inside out, just taking you higher and expanding. Feel yourself expand, which is a really lovely thing to feel. Yeah, so you've got to have a lot of positive things going on to maintain. But like you say, you know, we have been through a lot of trauma, but it's only because we're going to use it in later life. You know, if the more trauma you've gone through, the higher your calling. So you will help somebody with that same trauma. That will happen. You'll have all the, and that person will help somebody else. It's a chain of events, and you know, and we'd also, through all the trauma, it gives us that compassion to have that generating heart space as well, because you've got to have compassion to get that heart space generating. So if we even think somebody's been through the same trauma we have, it will start generating our heart space, and then we become healers, you know, just strong healers, just with that empath. The empath frequency just gets so strong that we don't even mean to heal, but we do heal just with our presence, which is really gorgeous. You know, just with a smile, we heal people, which is amazing.
Yes, I agree. I really like Hildegard von Bingen, her music, which I guess it's not. There were no recordings of her music because it's so ancient, but there are artists who have recreated her music, and it's just so high frequency. I love listening to that in the bath. So Jeff has a question. He wants to know if Starseeds get help or assistance for their mission from their guides.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's why it's so important to build that bond with them on an energetic level if you're not receiving telepathy. And you have to be quite, you have breathing down so much. But when we breathe down, we lift our frequency. It's a big misconception that the more we're chanting and smacking our hands together, the higher we're vibrating. That is, it's a different type of vibrating. It's more of a physical vibrating. So when we actually breathe down and we calm our body, then our frequency lifts. So I always tell people, breathe down to lift. And that's the only way we can really connect with these higher beings. But I always say I'd like to speak to my Pleiadian communicator, or I'd like to pull a Sirian forward. I'm very specific. I don't muck around, and I don't get all say religious over everything. I'm very certain. It's like they're working for me. So I have to keep remembering that. So if I've got a headache, I'll ask them to put it to the back of my head. Like, they're very good at things like that. If I'm not feeling well, I'll ask them to realign my chakras. If I've got an ache, I'll ask them to heal it. I use them. I make sure I keep using them. And I always click into, like, if they need to speak to me, they'll put a couple of tones in my ear and I'll know, because I've made a strict rule that I didn't really want them just to keep talking in the background all the time. I wanted to have my mental space, and then I call them in when I'm ready. And sometimes we've got a lot to say. So, yeah. And channeling's always an
They're like, thanks for making us wait so long. Blah, 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 blah.
I click in. Well, if I'm doing channeling, I'm with them all day. But if I'm trying to have a day out and I'm walking, go for a walk or something, or just get away from work, then, yeah, I want my space. But, yeah, they'll still find ways of getting in touch with me. I'll see little love hearts places, or feathers, or be getting synchronicities everywhere. So it never really goes away. Once your intuition lifts, that's it, you're in. And I think if you can work on your intuition, some people have got it, and it's just sitting there ready to be used, and other people are using it really well. So we've all got it. All Starseeds can make connection with their guides. A lot of it has to do with, it's a big step. Once we start communicating with them using whether you're channeling or using telepathy, it is a huge step. So they'll usually wait until you're at a time in your life when you're not going to be so hectic, like when the kids are growing up, or when, maybe middle age. That is the time when most of the telepathy comes through, if you can let it, because we're sort of going into a cooler, calmer time of our lives. It's not so rat racy. It's not so serpent system. We can find our own space. Yeah. Because could you imagine, they're not going to go giving somebody, they're not going to just burst in and start channeling through somebody that's got children to bring up or distract them, because it's so important to the Pleiadians that we're mentally sound to receive telepathy, and when we get the right message too, because they don't want to start giving messages to somebody that's going to twist it, or then not going to send messages to somebody that's not going to listen, So
right.
It has to be the time of your life. It's all in divine timing, and they know. We knew when we signed all our paperwork before we came down here when it would happen, but we sort of, you can feel it though. It's like that calling. You sort of know it's going to happen, that strong, that you're going to start hearing things. But most people do get the pressure in their ear. But I ask my guides to help me with absolutely everything. Like if I have to write something, like even this morning when we were trying to connect, I'm going to my guides, okay, just calm me down. Because like trying to get this, the internet connection.
Technology, right. Yeah.
Like, yeah, just calm me down. And it was really good. I just felt this sweep of calmness. So I use them to help calm my physical.
I felt you. I felt your panic.
Yeah,
that's why I called you. I was like, are you okay? Can I?
Yeah. My frequency was just like peaking at that stage. It was like, oh no. But yeah, the guides, they actually calmed me down so I could actually get through the process and get it all hooked up, because it was also very early in the morning. I wasn't quite awake.
I know. Double whammy there. So awesome. We're at the time in the show now. If anyone would like a reading, this is a good time, because we've got about 20 minutes left in the show. Oh my God, my goodness, look who's in the chat room. My brother-in-law, David. Hello, David. It's great to see you here. Thanks for joining. He says, seeing things and hearing voices. I met with a psychiatrist. She says these are all examples of psychosis. How do you defend my sanity in court? I'm involved in a child custody case. Oh, that's a big question, David. Very big question. You're asking us to mix metaphysics with the judicial system, and I don't think those two mix.
The rat race and celestial come together. It's like a spiritual war. Yeah.
Yes. So our dear friend Anna would love to have a reading if you are open to that, Tracey.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just pull up some, I'll just see how many guides you got and see who's there to help you. Okay, we got Anna. Is that Anna there?
Yes. Well, That's not her picture, but.
Okay, so I've got 4 Pleiadian guides with you, Anna. So what you'll see them in your vision. They'll be like little blue dots, sort of an indigo blue. So you could see them around the room as well. They're like out of your internal vision. You might see blue dots in the corner of the room. It can be a bit confusing. People can think they've got vision problems, but it's actually just their guides. So we've got 2 females. One's your main communicator, but she's also saying she does healing as well. She gives the feeling that she's a lot older, but she's not. They're all about the same age, but with their wisdom and their knowledge, they can give that feeling that the communicator is a lot older and like a lot more packed with wisdom, but they're all approximately the same age when you look at them physically. So you don't actually have like a grandmother Pleiadian and a middle-aged, but they all look sort of middle-aged, but the wisdom makes them feel older. So you've got one female communicator, and the other one is she's a healer. So you can ask her to, put your worries to the back of your head to heal your body. And they also, like, if you go into the astral at night when you sleep, they'll sort of stand around your body and sort of protect it as well. So that's really, really comforting, so that you can actually have really good sleep, to know that they're there and protecting you. They say speak to that. They really like to make contact with you and chat. But I think they'll move with the energy first. They'll definitely give you energy first. So I would I'd find a calm place, breathe yourself down, like slowly in the nose, like sniffing a rose, slowly out the mouth, like blowing a leaf. Get your shoulders to feel completely limp, so that you're going to feel all the energy around you. So it's going to be obvious. And then just ask your Pleiadian communicator to step forward, and you'd like to feel her. That's what you want to do. You want to start with that energy bonding. And then you can sort of, once you've gone through a few questions with her, and I find it's really good to actually sit down and just let anything that's ever held you back, talk to them about it, because they know what you've been through. So they're just waiting for you to talk to them about it, and then they can actually help you release it, which is
because they need your permission. Yeah.
Well, one of the little it's just stink, because it's like one of the things we're up against is for the serpent trap for us as, say, Earth Angels or visitors to Earth Starseeds, is that we have to ask. We have to ask our guides for things, and we have to be quite certain, and a bit of sincerity behind it as well. So you've got that compassion level of heart expansion. And when we do that, it just lifts our frequency incredibly high, and they can communicate and actually listen to us a lot clearer as well. But they've been with us since our first conscious breath. So they know how our thoughts process. They know our fears. They know everything. All they're waiting for is for us to confide in them and just say, can you help us? Can you help me? Can you help me clear this? Can you, and you can talk about the pain and any traumas, and they'll help you, because we don't want to get rid of any of those pain or traumas, because that's our wisdom toolbox. We really just want to put them on a shelf somewhere where we've dealt with them and they're there. We don't want to chuck them away, because that's all our wisdom. You don't want to throw your wisdom away. I don't believe in trying to clear all traumas. I believe that we work through them and then we put them somewhere. Because they're always going to come back in a memory form, and as soon as the memory form comes back, we're going to feel it physically, like it just happened all over again, and we're going to get that physical feeling that goes with it. So yeah, I don't know why they're just trying to tell me now, any traumas that you've got, talk to your Pleiadian communicator about, just release them through her and let her soothe you, because she'll just blanket you with a whole lot of love. Hold on a minute. So Raphael spends time with you as well. So I'd also talk to him, Anna, not only your Palladian communicator, but Raphael holds space with you when you need him. And he's a fabulous healer, and he really just comes in, and it's almost like a blanket of warmth he'll put over you, and you'll just feel secure and safe. So use him as well. Okay, so we've got two Pleiadians, Raphael. There's two male Pleiadians as well. They're battle angels. Okay, they've been done galactic wars. They're also astral battlers as well. They're here to protect your body when you do go astral. If you ever do it, take some time in the upper third, lower fourth dimension. If you're flying around in there, he'll take care of you. They'll take care of your body.
Anna, didn't you get a reading from Tracey last time we had her on the show? Because it just jogged my memory that we both had Raphael as guides.
Yeah.
I just oh yeah. I think you gave her a reading before.
Probably. The thing is, we can have a lot of guides as Starseeds. We can have quite a few, but only so many hold space with us on Earth, like with us. Like sometimes I can have with me, sometimes I can have 12, sometimes I can have, it depends what you're doing. Like if you're doing healing work, Raphael's going to step in if you've got a good relationship with him. All your Pleiadians they'll stand in. Like I've said, I've done with my Reiki, they'll still push in, they'll take over, which I don't mind because it sort of takes it to a different level. But the main thing is just to build that bond with them and know their energy and being completely comfortable in their energy as well, and have no fear. And then it just starts to roll. It's building the bond. The more you build the bond, the better it is. And of course you've got to have trust and faith in who and what you are. You've got to know what you are, which helps.
So Tracey, I know you're on your mobile, so you might not be able to see the comments I'm putting up on the screen. But Anna said thank you. And Jeff wants to know how many he has, if any. And I asked my guides how many he has, and I got a number. So I'm curious to know what number you got. So Jeff wants to know how many guides he has, if any.
I get 4 with him now, right now. There's 4 with
I got 4 too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, the more we have is for reasons will be, if we're in a situation where we're going to have a lot of reptilian energy around us, our guides there'll be more guides that step in and protect us as well, because our aura is about 20 feet wide, so we pick up serpent energy quite easily. We'll know it's in the room, and our guides, you can call your guides in and say, shield me, put some mirrors up. Like I imagine a whole lot of mirrors around me pointing out, like reflecting outwards, so anything that comes towards me is reflected back, and I'm in a little bubble. And I just say, shields up, maidens. Like I've got so comfortable with them now, I can just tell them, put the shields up, and I can feel it instantly. I can feel that protection. But yeah, absolutely. He's got 4, and 2 females and 2 males, 2 battle angels, 2 male battle angels, and 1 healer, 1 communicator. I feel like there's more as well. Hold on, I'll just check about as archangel.
Yeah, I got 2 and 2 also.
I get Uriel's spends time with him. And he's quite an incredible healer in energy. It just calms the energy, really. Be interesting to know what Jeff does, actually. Hi, Christina. I can see you. I just saw your face come up.
Christina's in the house. Hello, beautiful Christina.
In the house.
Yeah, another Pleiadian in the house.
Yeah, Pleiadian energy is a lot different to the Sirian energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll just see what else I had to. I'll just make sure I've covered everything.
So Jeff is actually, he works with the ET race called the Ponti. They're based in a mountain called help me, Jeff. It starts with an S. They're in New Mexico. There's a mountain range there, and that's kind of where their base is. And so they are with him all the time. So when you saw his guides, did you see any gray-looking beings? Sandia Mountains. Thank you.
No,
Sandia, which means watermelon in Spanish.
I'm very, very careful not to tune into any entity, or else they'll come and blink and visit me. So I only tune. I've learned my lesson.
These guys are pretty nice. They're pretty nice ones.
Yeah. Humans, Pleiadians and Sirians are all I ever want to deal with. They have to have a generating heart space, or else it's an entity. Because if they don't have a generating heart space, they can be a little aloof and not very thoughtful. Whereas I like the entities and light bodies that have got a generating heart space, because I know they've got, some compassion and kindness. Yeah. But no, I don't know much about the Ponti. So what do they look like? Oh, I'm already getting a vision now. Oh, dang it.
I can pull up some images for you if you want.
Yeah, no, I can see it. Yeah. Yeah. They're underground.
They're what?
Are they in a range on the side of a mountain? Are they inside a range?
Yeah, they're in the Sandia Mountains in New Mexico. I can show you what they look like. Hang on.
Yeah.
Where did I put your book?
It's one of these Earth aliens. This is the hardest thing. Majority of the aliens live here. This is their home.
This is a coloring book that Jeff did. Can you see me? Hang on a second. They kind of look like that. Jeff, you're like here.
Very humanoid, quite gentle in the face as well.
Yeah. Here's another one.
Yeah.
Welcome, the Ponti are here. They've joined the Divine Lunch Hour. Yeah, so this is a children's coloring book that Jeff did.
Are they scientists, Jeff?
Yes, they're
getting a lot of scientific feedback.
They're very scientific and very technological and very conscious, I would say, from what I've heard. I haven't met them. I haven't invited them in yet, but a lot of people do. So
yeah, exactly. I'm getting that they work with mantis as well, the scientific side of the mantis. The mantis are very, very scientific as well. I think they're quite as respected as the mantis. Mantis sit on the fence. They're not like they don't run with the wolves, and they don't they don't eat with the sheep either. They sort of sit in the middle. I try and trust them. I've got this feeling that they're trustworthy. I haven't had any bad run-ins. I do know where they actually do a lot of their cloning, though. That's why I find it's quite interesting, these Ponti being scientific. I'm wondering do they do any cloning? I'd have to ask. Or what they're doing.
Jeff says they are more like the Yael. Who are the Yael? I haven't heard of them, Jeff. Gardeners of intellect. Yeah.
Wisdom keepers and seekers as well. Yeah, I get the very scientific. I'm getting that right now. So they'll be really interested, and they'll be really concerned for Earth at the moment. I'm getting that as well. Like they're more concerned about is what's happening on Earth, because this is their home, They don't want it ruined by humanity either. I'm not getting any aggression towards humanity. I feel they work nicely with humanity, but at the same time, there's a few ET races that live here that are starting, they're getting concerned. And because half of them live underground, live in the water, in ranges under the water anyway, or in mountain ranges. So they're somewhat protected from radiation. that's coming to Earth, because these solar flares are coming in hard, where we only get them every so often. We're getting them all the time now. Okay, yeah.
Here's a good
yeah.
collection of the family.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And there's an artist who draws them through channeling. Her name is Sue Walker.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
where all those images come from. Yeah.
Oh,
very cool.
There's lots of entities out there. I have to be really careful where I focus my energy and my thoughts, because we're so powerful as starseeds. We can bring in entities we don't want to mix with, or could be lower than us. And that's another thing too. We've got to make sure that they match our frequency as well. So
absolutely,
being starseeds, that's why we tend to go like the light body Pleiadians and Sirians, because they're so highly frequenced.
So is there anyone else in the chat room who would like to have a reading today? I think we might have time for one more short one. And we are at almost an hour here. And this has been really fascinating, everyone. Thank you so much for your questions so far, and for being open enough to get a reading live, a public reading. That was awesome. I love that, Jeff, that we both got 4 for Jeff, because we've been wanting to do that for a while now. It's like read someone at the same time and see if we get the same answers. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And like with Jeff, he's got those 2 male Palladians as well, who are battle angels and have fought in the Galactic Wars. And he's, you'll probably find that he's been side by side those 2 anyway. There'd be some sort of matching going on with the galactic fighting, the heavenly realm wars and things, and on the astral. There'll be a relationship between him and his guides, and there'll be a relationship with him and his Sirians as well. We have a few Sirians hanging around in the background. His frequency will pull these pontes, and the frequencies that he's on will make that connection stronger as well. Jeff's obviously got really quite good intuition to be able to connect with these guys also. But I sort of I look at dimensions like a book layer, and I feel like every frequency has a different entity on it. And that's what I'm finding. The more you lift, you meet different entities, and you get higher and higher and higher and higher until bang, you're up. And you're up in source.
But then don't you find yourself like kind of weeding through the ones you resonate with more and want to be in your life? Because if you've got all these different beings coming in, that could be kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, see, I wasn't wanting to play in the sandpit of Earth aliens. I wanted to go straight up. So I concentrate, all my concentration was on Pleiadians. That's all I thought, even though I'm Sirian. All I put my mind on was Pleiadians, because that's where I wanted to go. I didn't start, even after I'd met the mantis, I didn't obsess over the mantis, because I didn't want that connection to blossom any more than the knowledge I knew. I wanted to go high. I wanted to have the Pleiadian and the Sirian, wanted that bond beyond all. It was a calling to connect to them. So I passed through a few entities, but that's all right. I hopefully won't see them again, because once I get up there, my frequency lifts. I get off their freeway. I get off their line. Off their dimension.
Like Frogger. It's like that game, Frogger.
I'm in no rush. So but it's nice that what I did find nice is that they all came in and introduced themselves to me. Like some of the top runners, they came and introduced themselves and told me that they'd hold protection for me, which was very sweet. So that was also really important to me to hear that, because it's a big scary world out there, and you don't want to be in an astral battles every day of your life. But I've got trust and faith that I'm fully protected. So I've got Archangel Michael, the Serpent Slayer. It's always good to have him around.
Absolutely.
And And if I pick up a hybrid reptilian energy in front of me, I try not to do too much eye contact with them. I try to focus here on them, or maybe their nose, so I'm just not getting sucked into that gleaning energy that the serpents have. But yeah, I think you've just got to make sure your internal dialogue is really supportive of who you are to keep your frequency nice and high too. So don't have too many doubts in yourself. Always flip it and always work out where your strength is, and it will be in your moral values. Your integrity will be strong, you know, your trustworthiness will be strong. Those things build very their substance that you can fall back on all the time, is that energy of who you and what you are. So it's really good to know what moral values you have, and if you don't know, write a list of them down and just see where you're at with each one, and you'll soon know where you have to work to lift that frequency as well, that substance frequency. I just thought I'd better put that in because it's important, as well as a really positive internal dialogue. You've got to have it.
Yes, absolutely. So Tracey, how are you feeling? Are you okay doing one more?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay, before we do that, Tamara has a question. How many archangels are there? And are they all Sirians? What an interesting question.
Yeah, there are quite a few. I find that a lot of the Pleiadians and Sirians tend to use Michael, Raphael, Uriel, this is just the first 5, 6 or 7 that are in the list of archangels. I don't tend to use any of the others. They seem to work closely with the Sirians and the Pleiadians. They call us angels. In a way, and I suppose we are like beings on Earth in a human body. We're Earth angels. There are quite a few, and they are all Sirian. That's something that they're very old and they're very ancient. But when I talk to archangels, I'm like, what do you want to call yourself? They call themselves creatures. So it's almost like they've got the Sirian ancientness and the Sirian wisdom, but they don't call themselves light beings. They call themselves creatures. And I suppose that I wonder if that's where we get the wing thing from, that they have wings, because when I have seen an archangel, when I saw Michael, he had no wings. So he was in full expansion. But when he comes to me, it feels like it feels like the wind's like just coming towards me, like his wings are going, but it's not. It's just the rush of power.
Wow.
So that was the first thing that I noticed, is that, these archangels, they can be in a ship attire as well. They don't always... Let me put it this way. If you want to see an angel, you'll see an angel. If you want to see them in ship attire, you'll see them in ship attire. It's amazing. They'll just morph into different things. So they'll look full-on battle angel with swords and full battle gear, or they can be in ship attire with, a cape on one shoulder as well. So it moves. Whatever humanity wants to see, they'll see with the Pleiadians and Sirians. It's quite cool. But
Very
Tamara.
Cool. Thank you, Tamara.
Yeah.
Is she from New Zealand too?
I feel like I know her.
I feel like we know you, Tamara. She must be in one of our groups.
I can only just see a photo. It's not too small. But I feel like I've already connected with her. I'm getting ahead. Just call on them. Just call on your archangel. Call on, like I always say, if you're ever in fear, call on Michael. If you're not feeling well, call on Uriel or Raphael. They've got these powers that they can bring into our lives and actually enhance them. And because they're Sirians, they're like our brothers and sisters, and we just got to treat them like that. We can't have there's no hierarchy. I mean, the serpent system has made it feel like there's hierarchy, but there's not. We're all equal. If we're Starseeds, we're equal to these guys. They're our brothers. So when you talk to them like they're your best friend, and it will build that bond. Because they don't want to be put on a pedestal. They've fought side by side in galactic wars with us, so they know us, and we know them. So just talk them like a best friend or a sister or a brother, and be certain and be sincere, and they work well for us.
Tamara says, yes, you do. We talked already. So we do know her.
Yeah,
Thanks for tuning in today, Tamara.
I can't see it. That's the trouble.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Okay, and then we have another dear friend. I'm so touched by everyone who showed up today. They're all kind of like friends. Drew Banky is in the house from the Eagle's Nest podcast. He's also been on the Ascension sessions, and he is up for a reading if you're willing, Tracey.
Drew, I feel like I've talked to Drew before.
I think he came on the show when you were on the Ascension sessions too. I think he came on and you gave him a reading that night.
Yeah. I'll just see if he's got a message for you, seeing as you know how many guides you've got. I'll just see if there's a message for you, Drew. They're just saying keep positive, keep moving forward. So that's interesting. They're talking about courage and trusting the process. How many guys? Yeah, they're saying you've got 6 Pleiadians with you all the time. So your frequencies lifted more than the last time we talked. See, the more work that you're doing in lifting humanity, the stronger your frequency is going to get, and the more Pleiadians you'll hold with you, the more will come down, especially if you're doing any healing. So what do you do, Drew? You host shows, Drew.
He's a shaman. He's a medicine man, and he works with plant medicine, and he helps people go on journeys.
Yeah. Well, see, his Pleiadians will step in doing all that sort of work, and his energy has to be protected as well. So they'll be busy, like, standing around him, like, protecting him the whole time. They say that that Drew is protected. His frequency is super high too. I'll just see where that's sitting. Can you give me Drew's? Where's his frequency?
4 males I got.
80%. Yes, that's super high. That sort of leaves 20% for humanness, really. So that's quite. You're really you're very, very high in the planes. 80%. That's super high.
I'm getting like 87. 87.
Yeah, super high. And we've got 4. Yeah, we've got.
He's super high. Drew, you're super high.
Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we've got 3. Yeah, we've still got 3 Pleiadians, 3 males, and 1 Sirian hanging on there. So there's 4 males, 3 Pleiadians and 1 Sirian. So that's what's that make up? 4 males, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7.
I got 4 males too.
Yeah, I don't have the Sirian holding space with you though, so you're not in any danger of doing anything, and you're not actually. You're quite safe. You've just got your Pleiadians with you. Sometimes the Sirians will move in if you're in any sort of energy danger or around an energy vampire, they'll step in. No, it'd be nice to connect, Drew. You're nice and high. They're just saying thank you for everything you're doing for humanity. It's noted, which is beautiful, because I just gave me a bit of heart expansion then. This is what
always
it's all
high.
Yeah, he's always That's good. I'm the same. I'm always up there all the time, and sometimes I have to bring myself down to reality. Like when I was getting super high, because I've had to pull you've got to find a balance with the system. And you still got to be able to make dinner for your kids. You still got to be able to do the washing and communicate with people. Whereas I got to a stage where I shut down. I was so communicative to the cosmic that human life fell off. That just fell off. Like, I stopped cooking, I stopped cleaning, I stopped communicating with family. All I want to do was connect cosmically. And I can see how the guru thing, because I could have just sat there and people could just feed me and bring me water, because I wouldn't move. I wanted to go to a mountain. I wanted to get in a cave. I wanted to be alone with my guides. That's it. Everybody's out.
Right.
I know it was quite selfish.
Be the queen that you are.
To other people, it's quite selfish, but to me, it was like, get out of my way. I feel this calling. If I don't do this, I'm going to explode. I need to be. It's it can frighten the heck out of your family when all of a sudden you've been that mum that will make dinner every night or be there to the washing's done, and then all of a sudden mum's left the building. She's actually left the planet. They're just so you've got to find a balance. If you've got a busy life where you can still live a human life but still have that higher, and it's quite an art. Drew's got it. He's able to live in the two worlds, and it's a bit of an act. You've got to try, and it's a juggle. Because you don't want to get
he has babies. Drew has babies, like little babies.
Little teeny weenies.
Did you just have a second one, Drew, too? Was your second baby born yet? And there's a 20-second delay, so you can keep chatting.
Babies are super grounding, aren't they? Because they bring us back. No, he'll lucky children to have a dad like that, just so open and spiritual and onto it, and knows the system, got good guides. No, it's brilliant.
His baby's coming June 7th, so you'll have a Gemini like me. Yay! Beautiful. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for giving Drew a reading again. That was really lovely. Who is that? Now I'm confused. Oh no, that's still you. Okay. Is that the baby's name? Ember Illumina? That's so beautiful. The ember to illuminate.
Oh, how gorgeous.
That's really sweet.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Okay, Jeff has one more question. Since the Pleiades is so vast, are there many types from there? Who are you referring or referencing when you say Pleiadians? Any specific type?
Yeah, I do. In saying that, though, we've got a lot of Lyrans that have joined the Palladian forces. A lot of people that call themselves Arcturians have joined the Sirian forces. So it's more about, like, the Pleiadians are very. When I see them in ship attire, I see them in like a bluish type suit with a silver neckline. Some of them have got capes and blonde, pretty much cookie cutter looking. Sirians are a lot different. I've seen a lot of brunettes, dark-haired, blonde-headed. The Pleiades is a safe haven in the universe right now, and there are a lot of nationalities, species of light beings that are actually sharing the Pleiades right now. But if you're in the Pleiades, you're looked upon as being Pleiadian, and that's pretty much how it works. You're under Pleiadian protection. If you go into the Pleiades, you're under Pleiadian protection. So a lot of the places that we would have been associated with billions of years ago no longer exist. So we're there's safe havens like Sirius A. Sirius B is a little bit more hostile because there's other entities there that aren't of the collective. They're more of the Federation. And the Federation's a whole different ball game. You'll get lots of different mixtures of entities in the Federation because it's all about who gets what. And that's always important to those guys, whereas we in the collective are more about, and that's what you'll find in the Pleiades, is more of a collective base. They're here to lift humanity and lift the frequency, and we don't really care too much about the politics of the world because, you know, the Federation takes care of that, the rights, the Earth Treaty, who can do what, and who can... but the Pleiadians, yeah, there's a lot of different alien types on the Pleiades, but they are actually called Pleiadians, been there long enough. It's like I said to Cheri once, you know, if you grow up in a town and you're in a street for say 6 months on the day you're born, are you going to associate yourself with that street, or were you going to live the rest of your life like you've lived 200, you know, more years in one place than you have in another? Then you're going to sort of represent yourself with the place you've lived the longest. And like I say, a lot of the planets aren't there anymore. They got taken out in those galactic wars, which were quite severe. Mm-hmm. So Pleiades and Sirius A and Sirius B are really a safe hub for, you know, a mixture of different types of starseeds to be in. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we need to be protected.
I have a question about the Federation. So I've heard that there's the Galactic Federation and then there's the Galactic Federation of Light. And supposedly they're two different entities. Have you heard that, or have you had any experience with either?
I don't get involved with that side, the Federation. I really don't want to. I know they're there. I know what, you know, that's all about airspace. It's all about, you know, there's a lot of politics in that Earth Treaty that they uphold. The Galactic Federation of Light, that's just a higher, a group of entities that are together. It's just like little branches off, you know, starseeds. It's just different branches off. They've all got different jobs, but you know, I'm 100% collective, because collective's all about humanity, whereas sometimes, you know, I don't feel like the Federation's really looking out for humanity. A lot of times it's what can be, you know, there's a lot of bartering going on about who gets what, and you know, it's commerce. I just don't get in. And the Federation of Light, that sort of oversees that whole thing again. You know, it sort of oversees us all, but at the same time, I don't work with them either, because they're so busy with the Federation trying to keep all that under control. I mean, if you can imagine, you know, mantises, and I mean, there'll be somebody from the Ponte that will represent their group. There's representatives from every, I think there's like 43 different types of entities on Earth. So, you know, they're all involved in the Federation. It's all about the smooth running of Earth and what they can bring to Earth and how they can, you know, make it work in their favor. There's a lot of debating, and it's just like, nah, not for me. So I'm pleased I work for the collective. I wouldn't like to be stuck on that other side.
So who's in the collective? Is that Pleiadians and Sirians?
Palladiums and Sirians. And when I say that, that is just the umbrella for a lot of other starseeds as well, because they're the two safe zones in the universe. So we usually come under the Pleiades, or we come under the Sirius umbrella. So it's like it's basically going to war in another country. It's like putting on a suit in another country and fighting for them. Do you know what I mean? Or being with them. Like, we've fought with the Sirians and we've fought with the Pleiadians. They're the strongest galactic power, positive galactic power in the universe. So it's been made stronger just by other starseeds joining and making, you know, like you'll hear about,
like an alliance. Yeah.
Well, we're all Lyran. We all come from
Lyra.
Lyra. Yeah, we've all got that Lyran in us.
What do you think about the Arcturians? Are they part of the collective?
I have trouble with the word Arcturian. I know I've said this before, because it's a modern word and it's a modern constellation, and I don't see anything in it in history. And when I talk about my guides, they still talk about them being from Lyra, being Lyran. And it's like the mother. Lyra's like mum.
Right.
That's where we started. yeah, it was a safe haven, and we've just been pushed out to just like the Pleiades. And then even so, in the Pleiades, there's only a couple of planets that are really, really super safe, and the others aren't really inhabitable. But yeah, it's a big sandpit out there. And the main thing is that there have been agreements made, and there is safety out there, and there is calmness out there for a good reason. It's because all the aliens, most of the entities are on Earth. So this is where Earth becomes a little bit more of a sandpit of entities that don't get on. But that's why they have the Galactic Federation and they have the Federation, because that they try and keep all that in check. It's yeah. Whereas the collective, we can sort of run free, is because all we're doing is lifting humanity, being as positive as we can, giving, because the whole thing is about lifting humanity above the hum of the serpent system on Earth, because that's what pulls, that's what lowers the frequency of humanity, is that serpent hum. And we're very close to the ghost realm as well. It's like right there. That has its own low hum, and ghosts are all reptilian in their own recycling system. All humans that die, they go to the halls of healing. They don't actually they don't stay in this third density. Oh, what do we got here?
I want to share some screens about images that have been created of starseeds. So for those of you, if there's anyone watching now or in the future, these are different images that have been drawn. I assume most of these have been channeled, or people have seen them with their third eye, or with their real eyes, because they do appear in 3D sometimes. So these are Sirians right here. They can often come in with blue tinted skin. This is a Pleiadian starseed. They're often,
Pleiadians,
Nordic looking.
Yeah, very almond eyes.
And this is probably a good representation of a Pleiadian, although, she could look like anyone. There's Metatron, Archangel Metatron, another Sirian representation. Sirius also, the Sirius star system has a watery planet. I don't know if it's A or B or a third one, but it's B. It's where the cetaceans live, the whales, the dolphins, the mermaids. And I'm pretty sure that's where I'm from. Here's another image that would be a good representation of Pleiadians. There's the seven sisters right there. That's the Pleiades. And David mentioned the Pleiades in astronomy consists of 7 stars in the Milky Way. And that's a picture of it right there. So thanks for sharing that, David.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And then here's, an Agarthan from the inner Earth, because many believe that we have another Earth on the inside that can be accessed through the North Pole. And then these are just some of the archangels. That's Raphael, which is interesting that this artist drew him with the serpent caduceus thing that was, designed by humans. Yeah, that is troubling. Like, why'd she put Raphael with the caduceus? There's Archangel Michael. I forget if this is Uriel or this is Jophiel. Okay. This is Shamuel. And then this is a representation of, I believe, a Venusian Arcturians, Sirians or Venusians, Hyadians, which is another Lyran. These are all Lyrans from the original star system. These are the blue avians who come from Lyra. Also, Lyra has a cat-like people, and then the bird-like people. These are the avians. And a lot of people, when I share this image, say they've seen this being, which is really fascinating to me. They're like, oh, I saw her in a meditation. She came to me. So not sure who this being is.
Yeah, I think it, see those eyes that go up on the corner, the Pleiadians are very almond eyes. Like when they've come to me, it stands out. You cannot not know. So that's very similar to what a Palladian would look like. Nose is a bit too wide though. So I wonder if they've actually seen a Lyran or a Palladian, more likely a Palladian, I'd imagine. But yeah, the tall whites have got big round eyes. That's how you know the difference between the tall whites. They look like Pleiadians, but they've got the big round eyes. I've seen them stand at the back. They haven't stepped forward to me yet, but I've had tall whites come to me, but they just haven't. What's that?
We all know what that is.
Yeah.
Reptilian, Venusians. I wonder, when I do readings and the Venusians come through, I have a feeling that they're not actually from what we call Venus. I have a feeling that they're from another planet, maybe from Lyra or Sirius, and they've kind of settled on Venus now. What are your thoughts on that?
It's all different. It's not the same. Everything is different up there. There's safe planets and not safe planets. So it's not the same star system it was. Everybody's had to shuffle into safe areas. And I mean, even still now, you'll probably find they're on Sirius B, if anywhere. Sirius A or Sirius B seem to be a safe place to be. Most of the mixed entities are on B. And A we've got, and there's
so who's on A in Sirius?
A is pretty much A would be pretty the central home of where I'd call home. But even now I still call the Pleiades home, like when I ask where home is, they'll say the Pleiades. So I don't spend a lot of time on Sirius. To be absolutely honest, most starseeds spend more time on ships than they do on any planets, especially the ones that do what we do, like our guides that are up there, and they're not sitting at the Pleiades. They're actually on ship above us. They'll be in the clouds. They're just working with using telepathy between. So it's quite important to also realize that the Pleiadians are holding space right above us in their craft. They have trouble coming into this density, but on craft they can communicate with us really, really well. But I associate myself with a ship. I don't often associate myself with planets anymore, mainly because I'm always on ship. And I think you'll find that most of us are pretty much on ship. We'll relate to ourselves with being with a certain command.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation, Tracey. Thank you so much for spending an extra half an hour with us. And it looks like everyone has stayed too, because it's been such a fascinating conversation. So, so where can people find you? I know you're kind of hidden in the world of the internet, but if anyone wants to get in touch with you.
I'm just on Facebook at the moment, Tracey Clark on Facebook, if they wanted to connect with me or ask me any questions. I haven't gone into too many other platforms yet. I like to sort of be in the background working away, helping the starseeds so that they can all be beacons and help others. I'm really just support there for the starseeds. So just try and keep a bit of a low profile as well, or else there's only one of me, and sometimes I just get too many messages and I just can't answer them all, so it's hard.
You can always connect with me on Facebook, guys, and if you can't find Tracey, just connect with me and I'll try to put you in touch with her as well. But yeah, she does get really busy, so if you do reach out and you don't hear back right away, definitely be patient. And she'll get back to you. So this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share before I let you go?
Just stay as positive as you can. Whoops, just about flew off then. As positive as you can. Keep your internal dialogue really positive as well. Make sure that you back yourself, and you know your strength, all your substance. This is what's important. Starseeds must know what their substance is, and it will be in those moral values. Build those up, powerhouse. makes a huge difference, gets on that
Mm-hmm.
higher level.
Mm-hmm.
It's not religious. Yes. It's all about building substance.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Super important.
Thank you. That's wonderful advice. And yeah, talk to your guides as much as possible, or God, whatever you connect with on a higher level, like Tracey said at the beginning, use them, communicate with them, call them in, even if it's a headache or a pain, pray about it, ask for help. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you guys. I'm so honored to have all of you in the chat room. Jeff, Christina, David, Drew, Anna, and Tamara, and everyone else who came in the chat room today. Thank you so much for being here. And also, I just want to mention really quickly that I spend a lot of time on TikTok now, you guys, putting out a ton of content over there. And sometimes it'll make it over to my Instagram or Facebook channel as well. But if you're on TikTok, please follow me, because I would love to connect with you there. And I also have a Telegram channel, which is a little more intimate. There's only like 30 people in there. And that's where we have nice little intimate conversations. So that's a fun way to connect with me as well. And stay tuned for future episodes. We have Viviane Chauvette coming up in July, and I have a couple other guests coming up later this month and in June, but I haven't nailed everybody down yet. So if you want to come on the show, or if you know somebody who you think would be a good fit for this show, please message me on any of the platforms, or you can even put it right here in the comments. And I would love to have them on the show. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please, if you've enjoyed this show, please like and share this video. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up right now before you leave. And I'll see you in hopefully a week or two, actually 2 weeks, because I'm going to be traveling next Friday. But have a beautiful, beautiful end of your May, and I'll be in touch soon. Thanks. And thank you so much, Tracey. Lots of love. Bless.
Bless.
Bless.